Functions of the WTO: trade negotiations, dispute settlement, and monitoring. Functions of the WTO: trade negotiations, dispute settlement, and monitoring. The World Trade Organization (WTO), established in 1995, is the primary international institution that governs global trade, helping ensure that trade flows as freely, predictably, and equitably as possible. The organization performs a variety of functions that are essential for maintaining an orderly and transparent global trading system. Among its key functions are trade negotiations, dispute settlement, and monitoring. These core activities enable the WTO to fulfill its mandate of promoting multilateral trade, ensuring compliance with trade agreements, and resolving conflicts that arise between member states. This detailed exploration will examine the WTO's three principal functions, shedding light on their significance and how they contribute to global trade governance. 1. Trade negotiations. The WTO serves as a forum for multilateral trade negotiations, bringing together member countries to discuss and negotiate new trade agreements, reduce trade barriers, and update global trade rules to reflect changing economic realities. These negotiations are aimed at fostering greater trade liberalization, ensuring that international trade is conducted in a fair, non-discriminatory manner, and promoting global economic growth. The history of WTO trade negotiations. The WTO's role as a forum for trade negotiations has its origins in its predecessor, the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade (GATT), which was established in 1948. GATT's primary objective was to reduce tariffs and trade barriers among participating nations. Over several rounds of negotiations under GATT, significant progress was made in reducing tariffs on manufactured goods. However, GATT had limitations, especially when it came to services, agriculture, and non-tariff barriers. The multilateral trade negotiations. One of the WTO's most prominent roles is organizing multilateral trade negotiations. These negotiations, conducted among all WTO members, seek to reduce tariffs and other barriers to trade, and ensure that global trade rules reflect the current state of the world economy. See plurilateral and sectoral negotiations. In addition to multilateral negotiations, the WTO also supports plurilateral negotiations, where a subset of member countries can come together to negotiate agreements on specific sectors or issues. For example, the Information Technology Agreement (ITA), which was concluded by a group of WTO members, eliminates tariffs on a wide range of IT products. This type of agreement demonstrates the flexibility of the WTO in allowing groups of countries to advance trade liberalization in certain areas, even when broader multilateral agreements are more challenging. D. Trade facilitation. Beyond lowering tariffs and removing trade barriers, the WTO works to facilitate trade by simplifying and harmonizing international trade procedures. The Trade Facilitation Agreement (TFA), which entered into force in 2017, aims to expedite the movement, release, and clearance of goods across borders. The TFA is designed to reduce the costs and time associated with international trade, particularly benefiting developing and least developed countries. Negotiation challenges. While trade negotiations are a core function of the WTO, they have become increasingly difficult in recent years. Several factors contribute to this: diverging interests, developed and developing countries often have conflicting priorities. Developing countries seek more market access for agricultural products and fewer subsidies in developed nations, while developed countries seek greater access to developing countries' markets for industrial goods and services. 2. Dispute settlement. The WTO's dispute settlement mechanism, DSM, is one of its most critical and successful functions. It provides a structured process for resolving disputes that arise when one member country believes another has violated WTO agreements. This system is crucial for ensuring that the rules of global trade are followed, and that trade disputes do not escalate into broader economic or political conflicts. Dispute Settlement Body DSB. The WTO's Dispute Settlement Body DSB administers the dispute resolution process. The DSB is responsible for overseeing dispute consultations, establishing panels to hear disputes, adopting panel and appellate reports, and authorizing retaliation if a country fails to comply with WTO rulings. Panels and appellate body. When a dispute is brought to the WTO, the DSB first encourages consultations between the parties to resolve the issue diplomatically. B. Legal certainty and enforcement. The DSM provides legal certainty to the global trading system by offering a formal process for resolving disputes. The WTO ensures that countries have a clear understanding of their rights and obligations under international trade law. The binding nature of dispute settlement decisions, along with the possibility of authorized retaliation, helps ensure that countries comply with WTO rulings. Retaliation and compensation. If a country refuses to comply with a ruling, the DSB can authorize the complaining country to impose retaliatory measures, such as tariffs, on the offending country. This provides an incentive for countries to comply with the rules and ensures that trade disputes are resolved fairly. C. Significance of the DSM. The DSM is widely regarded as one of the most effective international legal systems for resolving disputes. Since its creation in 1995, the WTO has resolved hundreds of trade disputes, helping maintain stability in the global trading system. The DSM helps prevent trade wars, reduces protectionist measures, and ensures that countries adhere to agreed-upon trade rules. D. Dispute settlement crisis. However, the WTO's dispute settlement system is currently facing a significant crisis. The appellate body, which serves as the final arbiter in trade disputes, has been rendered inoperable since December 2019 due to the refusal of the United States to approve the appointment of new judges. The EU has expressed concerns over the appellate body's perceived overreach and judicial activism, arguing that it exceeds its mandate by creating new rules through its rulings. 3. Monitoring and transparency. Another critical function of the WTO is monitoring members' trade policies to ensure transparency and compliance with trade agreements. This function helps maintain an open and predictable trading environment by preventing the emergence of protectionist measures and ensuring that members follow the rules.